All right, welcome everybody. Thanks for being here. We'll get going. First of all, I want to say that I'm very happy to be speaking here tonight, sharing some info about defensive line play and really about the development of the defensive line in the off season. I think this is extremely valuable for the coaches to be able to come up with something that you can do over the off season in the winter, whether it's a gym, a weight, whatever it might be. I think most people will get something from this tonight. I do want to remind you that on our YouTube page, Three Phases Coaching, you guys can access this recording or any others, including Coach Durazio's from last night. So I encourage you guys to do that. And you can share that with your staff, and it's up there. It's free for you to use however you'd like. And tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, it will be Coach Mackey. John Mackey from Winnipeg. He'll be coming on talking quarterback play and specifically snap reads for the quarterback. So I'm looking forward to that. I do want to thank here, much like Coach Hall was, who is sitting here with me now. I am at the RMF facilities here in Regina. So beautiful facility. You can see it. Got a little bit of snow on the field today here in Regina, but it's a great facility. So I appreciate Coach Hall and Len Antonini and those people letting us be in this facility here. So that's fantastic. But let's get right into it, okay? When we're talking developing your pass rush for the defensive line, okay, I'm going to take you through exactly what we did with the Thunder. Okay, the Regina Thunder is a junior program here in Regina, and I'm fortunate, head coach Scott McCauley is always encouraging us to come up with new things and help develop the players and engage the players and engage the coaching staff. And I'm very fortunate that there's three of us working with the defensive line. So also on the defensive line is Brett McMahon here in Regina, and Gord McQuarrie has come on as well this season. So we've got the three of us really working with these guys. And I'm always of the opinion of this is, it's like that Field of Dreams movie. If you build it, they will come. All right. The more you develop and encourage and give to the players, the more they will be excited to do it. So what we did is we started a YouTube page, no different than this Three Phases Coaching right here. I took the cell phone, I filmed it in one of the facilities here in Regina, level 10, and we put them through the paces and we put it up on YouTube and they can watch it. All right. So that's what you're going to see here today is exactly what we did. Okay. I'll show you the presentation that we gave the players. I'll show you the practice clips that we did this winter, and then we'll end with one-on-one. And it's not selective. It's not all the best clips or all the worst clips. It's literally what we did, okay? So you get a little bit of the good, the bad, and the ugly. But the important thing to remember is that the whole idea is about development and progression, okay? So we identified with the Thunder that we wanted to improve the pass rush. So as coaches, we talked, and we came up with a certain set of skills that we wanted the players to improve on. Then we mapped out how we're going to deliver those skills to the players, have them get the reps at it, have them practice it, have them watch it, show the development and why it's used, okay? And then we just repeated that formula all winter. And unfortunately, it's gotten cut short here, but we had, 5, 6, 7 sessions with them, and they're excited about doing it. They're getting better. And you're going to see from today, it's going to be kind of the worst of the worst when they first started, all the way up to how they implemented it in our winter camps in one-on-one, okay? So as we get going here, all right, like I said, this is what we gave to the players. So we're developing our pass rush, okay? So when we start with pass rush or football in general, for me, it all starts with effort. You win with effort and that relentless aggression. It's amazing how many times effort can fix a mistake. If you were going full go and you have a missed assignment or a missed tackle, but you can sprint to the football, okay, and recover and get back in on the play, it can fix a lot of mistakes. All right, so effort everything always starts with effort with us. And then that relentless aggression, that motor, that nonstop, and you got to have a little bit of nasty to you to play the defensive line as well. Okay. And then the second point here, get off pad level and foot drive. That comes from my number one mentor, Coach Gary Echeverry. Okay. And he said, you can dress it up as all as you want, but defensive line play comes down to three things: get off, pad level, and foot drive. So any young coaches out there who are just getting into it and maybe not have a feel for all the techniques and all that kind of stuff, you can get a lot of mileage out of get off, pad level, and foot drive. You want to make sure that you understand that get off is the most important. Get off's number one, okay? It doesn't matter how good your pass rush moves are if you're slow on the ball or slow off the ball. And conversely, if you are fast off the ball and don't have a whole bunch of developed pass rush moves, you can still beat the opponent or the offensive line with speed, okay? You can still beat them with speed. So the get off is always the most important. You want to play with good low pad level and then constant foot drive. The feet are always moving, never stop. So then we'll move on to teaching the concept of rushing the passer, okay? So we rush the passer as a unit. We rush the passer as a unit, as a group of people, okay? And I find it best to teach that through pass rush quadrants, and I'll explain what that is, okay? Then we teach how the offensive linemen are trying to block the D lineman, okay? Go over that. This was new for them. This was new. We hadn't really talked about this in the past. So once they started to get that, then they can know how to defeat it. And put before their hands in the dirt, they can have sort of a plan with that, all right? And we'll take a little bit of a look here of stance, get off, set point, and some pass rush moves here. But really what I want to share with you is developing that plan. We had an idea of what we want to improve. We came up with a series of drills that we wanted to utilize to improve it, okay? And then we put them through the paces and we reviewed it. So when we're talking about the concept of rushing the passer, the number one thing is to disrupt the timing of the offense, okay? Specifically the QB. So that's done a multitude of ways. Number one is by getting to the quarterback and getting a sack, okay? But it can also be done by hits on the quarterback, pressures or hurries, getting them to move off the spot, getting them to double pump or burp the baby, as some people call it, okay? And getting your hands up for pass knockdowns. So we're getting off the ball, we're getting after it, and we want to disrupt the timing of the offense, okay? The second point, this is huge, okay? Make sure your players understand that in pass rush, we are rushing the quarterback. We are not rushing the offensive lineman, all right? It'd be better for us if they weren't there, okay? We get off the ball and go. We are rushing the quarterback, so we want as little contact as with the offensive line as possible. So what I mean by that is when we watch film of a couple previous years, we see players getting out of their stance with a great get off, but then they're almost reaching and trying to grab the offensive lineman. And then from there, it becomes a pushing match, okay? We're not rushing the offensive lineman. We are beating the offensive lineman on the way to the quarterback. And we'll only come in contact with them when they get in our way. If they try to initiate contact while we're trying to beat them to the set point, then we'll execute our moves to defeat that. But we're rushing the quarterback, all right? The concept of rushing as a unit, okay? That could be your 4-down D lineman. It could be a 3-down D lineman if you're in a 30 front. It could be include linebackers and DBs. Whoever is rushing, okay, they are part of that unit and you are doing it together, all right? You're not a group of independent contractors, okay? That's something that some people talk about a little bit as you get higher up in the levels, all right? And maybe when you've got salary bonuses and stuff like that in your contract for sacks. But I've always found it best if you are being unselfish and you are playing with your teammates, you are contributing to what they do well, and you are rushing as a unit. So you have to understand the pass rush lanes. And for me, the best thing for that is the quadrants of the quarterback, okay? And I'll go into detail with that here. And those quadrants help create those natural stunts, the cover me's, okay? The fix something when it goes wrong, all right? So you're going to be able to make your teammate right. But here's the pass rush quadrants, okay? So when we talk about this, all right, what we do is we usually start with this exact picture, circle, okay, divided into 4 quadrants, and that's supposed to be the head of the quarterback. All right. And if you're picturing 4 guys, you've got your ends on the outside of your line. They are responsible for the ears of the quarterback. They're getting to the depth of the quarterback, okay, not too far past the quarterback. They're getting to the ears, not the back of the head, all right? And they are responsible for the width, okay? And then you have your 2 tackles, could be a 3-tech and a 1-tack, a tackle and a nose, and they are the eye players, okay? They're going straight forward. One's on the left side, one's on the right side. All right. And now whoever is part of the rush, okay, you can help teach them these concepts and give them a quadrant that they are supposed to go to. If you were to add a 5th guy in here, then maybe he might be a nose player or a midline player. But we start with these 4 quadrants. And now when you're coaching it, all right, you're showing the tape. And when a guy gets outside of his lane, all right, you're not saying, hey, you can't be outside of your lane. You can ask him, okay, what's your quadrant? Oh, coach, I was supposed to be a right eye. Okay, I was supposed to be a right eye guy, but I got all the way across the midline to the left eye, but my buddy's there. Okay, and so actually it's probably, before I go too much into this, probably better just to, let me bring up that whiteboard here. So I was playing around with this today. All right, those of you who are new on Zoom, it's a whiteboard thing here, so you can enjoy having some fun. We'll see if it works though. Okay. So here's your front, okay? This is my best drawing here with my mouse on the laptop in a little base over front there, okay? Say the field is that way for argument's sake. All right, so as I talk about it here, if we draw 4 dots, okay, these would be our 4 quadrants, or probably even better to draw it inside. Okay, so you've got the left eye as we look at it. Sorry, the left ear as we look at it, the left eye as we look at it, the right ear as we look at it, and the right eye as we look at it. So if we just go right through here for the pass rush quadrants, the end, he would be a right eye player, or sorry, left eye player. This end on this side will be a right ear player, all right? Coming from the 3-tech here inside, this would be the left eye player. And this right here would be the right eye player. So you've got left ear, left eye, right ear, okay? Now, how we use this is it's very simple for stunts. Stunts are a good example of learning to use the pass rush quadrants. So for example, if we were gonna just draw a tackle end stunt here, okay, actually let's go end tackle or RT here. So now, you're teaching this rush that he's going first and he's no longer the left ear player. He's now the left eye player. So he's going to get vertical, come underneath, and his quadrant is now the eye, the left eye, okay? This 3-tech in this picture here, you can coach it up however you want to coach it, but he might give a little ground, try to get this guard over here. And when he wraps, you were telling him where to wrap. He's wrapping to the left ear, okay? He's wrapping to the left ear. So now, when you're watching the tape and you're coaching this, you can be very specific. For example, if this 3-tech, you know, he's trying to sell it, but he only gets up here, he doesn't get contained. Not only does he not get contained, but you can complement that by saying he needs to work out to contain because he is responsible for the left ear quadrant, okay? You can also build it on here as well. Oh, a little bit more undos when you're using dots, okay? You can build it here as well in a 3-man game, okay? So suppose on the boundary side or the right side as we're looking at it here, we'll just slant, okay? Actually, we'll use this end first, okay? He's gonna be the left ear player. And then let's take this 1-tech or this nose, let's slant him to be the left eye player. Let's take this right end, and now he is going and slanting, and he's going to be the right eye player, okay? And now this 3-tech might give a little bit, and as he works around, he knows his quadrant is going all the way around to be that right ear player. So he's actually going past or going to 2 more quadrants. He's gone from being a left eye player to a right ear player. Okay, so that's the most effective way that I found to teach quadrants, to the extent that after we did our first camp, you know, we were finishing one-on-ones, and I'll talk more about it when we show the tape, but players would beat the offensive line and veer off, okay, and then consider it a win. Well, to me, you're taking the easy way out, okay? You can't just bend it way over, the quarterback's way over there. That's where the launch point is, okay? So you, not only do you have to beat the offensive lineman, but you have to get back to your quadrant, okay? That's what's keeping it sound. So for example, if this 3 tech in this picture doesn't understand that he needs to work all the way out to be the right ear player, that quarterback could see the pressure here, step up, and now his escape lane is out there, okay? No different than if the 2 interior tackles both get on the same side of the midline, okay? If they get on the same side of the midline, you know, something like this, if we have 2 ear players like that, we've got a left eye player here, and then all of a sudden he's working and he's getting pushed all the way over here. Well, now we have 2 left eye players. You've got to work back to the right eye player, use a counter move to get there, or else this quarterback is just going to step up in the pocket and go there. But that's the idea of pass rush quadrants for there. Okay. So now let's talk about teaching your players to identify how the O-line is attempting to block you, okay? So first of all, your film and your game reps, in-game reps will tell you, that's his first line here, they'll tell you, okay? And the general rule that we have is if the offensive lineman is coming at you with low hands, we will attack them with low hands, maybe a chop, okay? If the offensive lineman is coming at you with high hands, then we will attack with high hands, maybe a swipe that we'll talk about today. All right, so low hands attack low, high hands attack high. But these things right here is really what I want to talk about today. So the first thing we do is we teach our players, you know, a regular set, all right? Is the offensive lineman setting to your inside with square shoulders. So you can picture yourself as an end, okay? And that tackle is setting, he's staying to your inside. He's got square shoulders parallel to the line of scrimmage, okay? That's your average normal set, all right? Now, if that's the case, we beat him with speed, all right? Setting to your inside, square shoulders, we're beating with speed, a speed move. So it could be a swipe rip, could be a dip rip, it could be a chop. But our number one thing is we want to beat with speed. The second thing is if the offensive lineman is oversetting you, okay? He's oversetting you to your outside, all right? And he still has square shoulders. So you beat him with speed already. Now he's worried about you beating him with speed again, and he oversets, he gets himself way out there, but the shoulders stay square. Now you want to counter inside with the speed move, okay? Shoulders are square, speed move. Overset, square shoulders, speed. So we're talking counter swipe, or we're talking maybe a cross chop and a rip. Okay, and I'll show you examples of these. The third one, if the offensive lineman is deep setting you, okay, and he gives you a big chest, he's taller leaning with vertical shoulders. So he's worried about speed, and then his shoulders go vertical or perpendicular, for all you math guys out there, to the line of scrimmage, okay? He turns his shoulder, he turns his hips, all right? When he does that, now we're looking for speed to counter. Now we're looking speed to counter. So you could be going for speed to a club, to a hump, to a spin and ice pick, okay? And if the offensive lineman is deep setting you, showing his chest, he's got those vertical shoulders, he's opened the gate, but he's sitting down or he's hunkering down, now you might go speed to power, okay? So that's where your bull rush and your long arm comes in, and we'll talk about that today, all right? But the number one thing is to beat the offensive lineman to that set point. Okay, and make sure that they understand where those set points are. You know, for an end ballpark, it's 3 by 1, 3 yards behind him, 1 yard outside. For an interior guy, it might be 1 by 1. Okay, but we know where we have to get to we align to execute, we got a great get off, we know how to defend what the offensive lineman does, okay, and now we can attack him more efficiently. So when we're talking about the stance, okay, first thing that we have to understand at every level, your pass stance and run stance are two different things. Make sure you teach your players that and you show them the difference. They're two different things. I don't mind a 3-point or a 4-point stance. In fact, if you're coaching at some younger levels where players just might not be strong enough to hold themselves up in a 3-point stance, go ahead and put that 4th point of contact down there. Okay, that allows them to be balanced and to be powerful. Okay, it doesn't affect a whole lot of get off if everything else is correct, and we'll go through that a little bit more. But to be stubborn and say I only want 3-point stances when a player physically can't hold himself up and therefore has a slow get off, it's counterproductive. Put them in a 4. Okay, hands in front of your eyes. So if you're teaching a base stance, okay, you might have your hand straight down, okay, and then very simply when you're teaching pass, if my right hand is down, then walk out 2 steps with your hands, one with the left, one with the right. Okay, now my hand is definitely in front of my eyes. Okay, the butt is higher than the shoulders. Okay, it has to be at least level. The example I like to use, if you're looking at yourself from the end zone camera, you can't see the numbers. Okay, the butt's raised. You want to be at least level, but the butt's raised. If your butt's lower than your shoulders, okay, you're going to be getting too high on your get off. You want everything powerful, leaning forward. Okay, so the feet have to be under the hips. I'm going to show you some clips on here today about that today. Feet, so the ankles, the knees, the hips, they're all in a straight line. Heel to toe relationship. We teach for the pass rush. If you're in a right hand stance, your right hand's down, your right foot's back. Okay, we will teach a heel to toe relationship for that. If it's run, it might be a little less, maybe heel to instep. Sometimes it might be parallel, but we'll go heel to toe. And then after that, it's a comfort thing. But just understand this. If you have too much stagger, all right, now they're having to almost come to balance as they get out of their stance. So they're going to be slow and weak. Okay, but start with the heel to toe relationship and work from there. The eyes in your stance have to be able to peripher the ball and the man. We'll talk about ball triggers and man triggers here. And then you must be loaded, balanced, and powerful. You can tilt to succeed. You can tilt to succeed. Something that drives me crazy is when you have all 4 defensive linemen with their protractors out there and they're lining up with a 90-degree angle to that line of scrimmage. All right? Get yourself a little bit of tilt and align to succeed. No different than playing with your width in an alignment. Can go from a 3-tech to a loose 3 if the ball's away from you or something like that. Okay, and the best way I find to teach stance is stance inspections with teammates. Stance inspection with teammates. Teach them how to do it, demonstrate it, show it to them, have a player with a great stance, show it to them, then partner them up or put them in small groups and have some of them go down in stance and then their partners walk around to see what it's supposed to look like, fix anything that's not correct, and then just switch. Okay, you know, you got to get your butt up a little bit more. Or you want your hand in front of your face, or, you know, you want to lock out that elbow, whatever it might be. Okay, but get your players to look at each other. Okay, not only that, but they'll talk to each other. It's a little bit different than coach talk, right? So they can speak their own language and get each other right. But stance inspections are a great thing. Okay, now we're talking get off. All right, we talk about man triggers, we talk about ball triggers. Number 1 rule, be onside. Okay, those of you who have been around me know what I mean about that, okay? But when we're talking about the ball trigger, all right, we said this to our players this year, we want to target the back end of the football, okay? And what do I mean by back end of the football? If I'm the center facing you and I've got the football here with the quarterback behind me, the end closest to you or the tip that's closest to you, okay, would be the front end, okay? The end closest to the quarterback is the back end of the football. All right. So when the center, it has his hand on the ball and maybe they're audibling or he's looking around, making checks or whatever it might be, calling out protection. Okay. He can wiggle that front end, but that back end of the football moves a lot less. So you aim small, miss small with your vision. Look at the back end of the football. And as soon as that thing moves, you go. And when we talk about man triggers, okay, we're talking about what part of the offensive lineman's body moves first. Okay, usually you're looking for things. Is it an ankle twitch? Is it a knee twitch? Is it an elbow? Is it a wrist? Whatever it might be. Okay, but you can see that on film, and then you can hone in your vision right there to make sure that you can get off the ball as fast as you can. Okay, a lot of times in pass rush, you might have more man triggers. Okay, but you always default to the ball. Okay, run game, you usually want to make sure you're defaulting to the ball more than man triggers. Okay, when we're talking about get off, that front foot in your 3 or 4 point stance, that's your pressure foot. Okay, you're looking for good ankle flexion, you're looking for positive shin angle, and you are pushing off that. You are stepping on the gas. Okay, that foot's loaded up, not to the extent where you're tilted. Okay, but that's where you're pushing off. Your back foot is really just a plant foot. It's for direction and length. Okay, but you are getting all your get off from that front foot. Okay, that's the pressure foot. That's where you're stepping on the gas and going. All right. The first step is longer in pass rush than it is in run defense. When you're defending the run, you want your first 2 steps in the ground as fast as you can. Okay, it's a race to get their second step. In pass rush, you want to go. You want to go. So you have to at least replace your down hand with your back foot. You're always gaining ground. Okay, good pad level with forward lean, and we talked about the set point. It's a race to get there. So how we drill that is we talk about hurdle get-offs. I'll show you some of those. Okay, that's really just working on that first step length to get your foot up and over. It's working the positive shin angle with the ankle, the knee, and the hip all aligned. Okay, you can do 1 foot get-offs. That's talking ankle flexion right there. So all you're doing with that is really just raising your back foot in your 3 or 4 point stance. Okay, now all the emphasis is pushing off that front foot. Okay, and then get off races, I'll show you some of that. Make it competitive. All right, you can do it with just defensive linemen getting off and racing each other. You can have set point races with the O lineman, or you can have the D line represent the O line. You know, it's a 1 yard race, it's a 3 yard race, it's a 7 yard race, or you can just simply backpedal. Okay, backpedal and try to tag the guy that's backpedaling. And then everything a lot of us has done from hoop drills and figure eights. Okay, bend the corner, pop-up bag races, all that kind of stuff. But what I really like doing for get off is making it competitive. Make it competitive, have a winner and a loser. So I'll show you an example of that, because that just ups the tempo, the intensity, and the level of competition. Okay, when we're talking rushing the passer here, I like to talk about the art of rushing the passer. I like it when people talk about art in football in general, okay? And it's created through repetition and having a plan of attack. The player must hone their pass rush moves, okay, and build their arsenal of weapons, all right? But it's important to understand that less is more. Less is more, okay? You don't need 50 different pass rush moves that you can do all 50 of them okay, just to show everyone how good you are at your different pass rush moves. Okay, you'll hear Hall of Fame defensive linemen say you can get to the Hall of Fame with 3 good moves. All right, 3 good moves. So with that said, you want to develop that pass rush menu. When you develop that pass rush menu, you're looking at, and I'll show you one of those, you're looking at what works well together, what am I good at, what am I not so good at, and more importantly, what moves can I string together, okay, to complement a speed to counter, a speed to power. But when you're thinking of that, you want to coach your players to think like a baseball pitcher, okay? I like the analogy of the baseball pitcher. You know, a baseball pitcher, primarily a starting pitcher, or whatever it might be, has 3 pitches: their fastball, their changeup, and their curveball, okay? So we've got a primary move, a counter move, and a changeup. We've got a speed move, a counter move, and a power. What are your 3 moves, and perfect those, okay? And then you can sprinkle in other stuff with that. Okay, understand that when you are setting up and coaching pass rush, coach it in this order. Coach speed. Everything is speed first. Okay, everything is speed. You want that offensive lineman to be scared to death that you're going to run the edge on him. Okay, it's speed, and then it's speed to counter, and then it's speed to power. Because once that offensive lineman is scared that you're just going to run the edge on him, all right, then he's going to start oversetting and deep setting, and he's nervous, and that sets everything else up. So it's speed, speed to counter, speed to power. Here's an example of a pass rush menu. So I showed this to our players in the off season. Okay, they're not all the pass rush moves on there. I just started listing some. So I broke them down. There's all our speed moves on the left. There's our power moves in the middle, and our counter moves on the right column there. So today, as far as speed moves, we'll talk about the dip and rip. We'll talk about the swipe or the windshield wiper. And then for power moves, we'll talk about the bull rush and the long arm. Okay, but there's a whole bunch of stuff in there that you can start to share with your players, or they can learn a little bit about it and expand it. And then what I did was I showed them a few escape moves here. Okay, this is still kind of a work in progress here, but I've listed 3, you know, your hump move or a locked rip, okay, a forklift and a reverse forklift. And then what we had our players do is I had them fill this out. So this is after 3 or 4 sessions, and we're going into our next winter camp. And I just add them to list on this sheet, all right, what they think their strengths are as far as pass rush moves, what they think their weaknesses are as far as pass rush moves, and what they want to improve on. And understand what they want to improve on might not be a weakness. Okay, they might want to improve further on their strength. It certainly can be a weakness. Okay, so maybe a player is really good at a club rip. Maybe he's not too good at a spin and ice pick. And maybe he wants to improve a long arm, something like that. Okay, and then what we did is, okay, this is kind of overall what your game is. And then now down here, specific to that camp, you can see the date there was February 29th. Tell me exactly what I can expect you to work on. What are you putting on tape? Which speed move are you going to practice? Which power move are you going to practice? And which counter move? Okay. And I find that the players really like that. And then we got to hold them accountable and talk about it after the practice. Okay. Just taking a look to see if I can see any questions here. Okay, I don't see any questions at the moment. If you have questions, please go ahead and ask. Okay, but I'm going to get into the film right now. So let's see this in action. Okay, so this right here is get off races. Okay, we're using the hurdle. Don't pay too much attention to the hurdle right now, because once you start racing and get competitive, then it's amazing how, you know, the hurdle flies a little bit more. But I just want to show you this. Okay, so we're setting up a 3-yard race. That's it. Okay, you can see Coach Gord there. They got to get off and tag his hand. Okay, on this particular day, we're using, you see Coach Brett. Okay, he's got the ball, so we're going off on the ball. Sometimes you might do this just on set go. Okay, we've done this with man triggers, and we just, you know, flinch an elbow or a wrist or an ankle or a knee. This particular day, we were looking at going off the ball. So again, what the back end of the ball is, okay, is right here. Not the front end when he wiggles it, but aim small, miss small with your vision, and we're going off the back end of the football, okay? But as these guys are going here, all right, what we did is very simple, is we had a little double elimination tournament. So this is at level 10, first of all, for the people that are local. Okay, they allow us to come in here and do some extra work after our workouts. So we thank them for that. They got a little bit of turf here. Okay, and you know, we don't have a lot of guys, so we're kind of hustling back. But what you get is competition. Okay, so it's a double elimination. Once you lose twice, you're out. Once you lose twice, you're out. So if I fast forward this just a little bit here, I want to show you this coming up here. Okay. So this is the final 2 races. Okay. So right now, this is Brian over here. I'm not sure if he has a loss yet, but Colby definitely already has a loss. Okay. But take a look at these 2 reps right now. So here we're talking about the stance. So look at, this is Colby Jansen right here. So look at the relationship between his foot, how his ankle and heel is pointed straight back to the garage, The knee is directly under the hip, okay? So you've got the right hip, the right ankle, and the right knee, okay? Same thing on this side right here, sorry, hip, knee, and ankle. And it's the same thing on this side. Take a look real close here and look at the heel. It's pointed straight back to the garage door. It's not out, pointed toward the blue wall over here, okay? First thing to look for in those stances are heels in or heels out. Because if the heels are in or heels are out, then the knees are either in or out, okay? A lot of times, players will put the heels out and that get their knees in, okay? Less powerful. You don't have that power angle, okay? So the easiest correction is tell them, hey, get your heels straight. And when they straighten their heels, okay, now their knees are directly under their hips and their ankles are directly under their knees. But now what you see here is on the get off, because he's got a good body position. I'll try to time it up. Okay. Oh, missed it. Go back a little bit more. Okay. That's a pretty good picture right there. So you can't really see his left foot, but that's the dry foot. You can see for all you track guys here, he's got that extension through the ankle, the knee, and the hip. Okay. And now here you can see the right foot. Okay. That's his plant foot, but you can see that we got good flexion here in the knee and the hip and the ankle. It's all in a straight line right here. And now he wins the rep. He wins the rep. And now they got to come back because he had one loss. So now I think they both have one loss. So they switch sides. Now let's compare with the other guy. We're looking for power angles in our get off. So right here, okay, look at the difference. All right, we're looking at Brian right now. Okay, his ankles to me are both in. This ankle's pointed diagonally to that, or this heel is pointed diagonally to the garage door there. That heel is pointed over this way, which then means the knees are out. Okay, less powerful. Now if I try to stop this nicely here, okay, see if I can get that for you. Even that's a picture there, okay? The knee is down. It will get a little bit higher, but more importantly, look at the foot. The ankle is still pointed towards that blue wall, okay? Whereas Colby's was straight up and down, okay? He's got his ankle outside his knee and outside his hip, just like Coach Durazio was talking about last night, okay? Less powerful. It's a decent extension here from the ankle, the knee to the hip, okay? Not quite full, all right? But you can see the difference in the get off, okay? And who wins? The player on the left, Colby wins, okay? So that's an example of that there. Okay, now I want to show you this right here. So after we do get offs, okay, now we're gonna talk about a bend drill. All right, that's all I call this, is the bend drill, okay? So you get a couple cones out, get a towel, or it's a shirt in this case. But right here, what we're looking for is to make the offensive linemen play below their bellies. They hate it, okay? Make them bend down and try to play below their bellies. You are beating with speed and forcing them to play below their belly. So what you can see here, a lot of awkwardness, and I tell the players this, okay? This is what I say to them. I try to make a joke about it, but you're gonna look at some of this stuff and you're gonna be awkward with your movement, and you might throw up in your mouth a little bit, okay? Because it's all new. You're trying this stuff for the first time, especially when you start doing pass rush moves, okay? But don't worry about it. We're gonna work, we're gonna see the progression, and you're gonna see over time how you do. And then the players will come back and say, like day 7 compared to day 4, I can see the difference between those, all right? And that's where you know you're getting somewhere. But really here, we're working on the dip rip. Not to mention, if you take a look, coaches, what's in the background, okay? That's the offensive line working there. That's the offensive line working at the same time the defensive line on this tiny little field turf here. You don't need a lot of room for this stuff. It can be done in your gym. It can be done with little equipment, no equipment, okay? But we're getting the work in, we're getting work together, okay? And we're getting better together. But as we go on here, what I want to see is on that third step for them to be able to bend down, okay? I just want them to touch the towel. I don't need them to pick up the towel, okay? I find it's a little bit too distracting, all right? But what I want to emphasize here is not scooping, okay? That right there is a little bit of a scoop to me, okay? I'd rather see a chop. I want to see you chop down, so we're emphasizing the chop, dip, rip, okay? I do like the bend. Then from there, let me do this. So I'm using a couple of different applications here, but hopefully this will work out nice. And then I want to get to, right about there. Okay. So here's the M drill, okay? First we do the bend. We're working on speed. We're working on getting around the edge, okay? Now we're working on bending, just changing directions, okay? So we got a little bit of an M here, and then at the end, we always work some sort of strip sack or stab at the ball, okay? So here you can see the players going, start their best get off, okay? And watch them bend around the edge. I like that second bend. See the second bend here around the blue bag, okay? So right there, get down low. Get down low. I can't say what the actual coaching term is here on this clinic, okay? But we'll say get your belly button to the dirt, okay? Bend at the waist, get down low. So you can see them emphasizing it, all right? They might look like a bunch of Frankensteins out there the first couple times they do it. That's okay. That's okay. They're going to get better, all right? But we've got a bend to the left, a bend to the right, and now here on the third bag, we're working the stab on the football, okay? We're not trying to strip sack it there. We're just trying to knock it out of the quarterback's hands, okay? Then we'll get the same thing going the other way, okay? Same thing. Look at that bend right there. That's fantastic. Look at that. Get down low. Get the belly button to the dirt. Get down low, and now we're doing a strip sack on the end. Now we're doing a strip sack, okay? Always finish with something. Just don't finish and walk off into daylight, okay? Good emphasis on the bend. Good emphasis on the bend. Finish with the strip sack, okay? We do this out of a stance just because we're emphasizing our get off and stuff. You don't have to, okay? You can do whatever you like, or you can mix it up. But here, good bend, okay? Like to see a little bit more of a bend. Sometimes these guys will even put a pivot down there, okay, with their hand. But really, that's what we're working. Bend, bend, strip sack. Okay. And now back to this here. Okay. Trying to make this full screen for you. Okay. So now let's talk, we've talked the get off, we've talked the bend, making the offensive lineman play below their belly. Now let's talk speed move here with the swipe, okay? I've always taught, for as long as I can remember, the swipe is my first pass rush move, okay? Other than get off and bend, when you're actually using your hands and stuff like that, I've often found the swipe is always my starting point. And it's for this reason, okay? To me, a swipe or a windshield wiper, okay, two hands going across the face right here, or the chest for that matter, okay, is the fastest pass rush move there is. The key to it is this, is to get your back half through. That's a coaching point, all right? So when you are using a swipe and you are coming up to the offensive lineman, it is not the same as, say, a club rip. A lot of time with the club rip, you want to flip your hips, okay, for the club, flip your hips back after you get skinny for the rip. On the swipe, you don't want to do that. You are looking to get past them as fast as you can. So it's simply the arms going side to side like windshield wipers. It might be a torso change a little bit, but we don't want to flip our hips too often when we swipe. At least that's what the goal is, okay? The aiming point for the swipe is you want your forearms to go to his elbow, okay? That's where we teach the aiming point for the swipe is the elbow. And the reason I teach that is if you aim for the elbow and you're coming up short a little bit, you might get the forearm or you might get the wrist, okay? But if you aim for the forearm or aim for the wrist and you come up short, then you are whiffing, okay? You're swiping air. So that's the aiming point here. So now, just like we talked about, is we're going through, and this is a normal swipe around the edge. So there's not a lot of movement. We will develop this as we go, okay, where we can attack them with the bags a little bit more, but I'm pretty stationary target here. This is early days, okay? So right now we're looking for a swipe rip, okay? These guys are getting used to it. It's ugly as heck at the start. If they're watching right now, they're probably laughing at it, okay? But you can see we're looking to simply swipe, okay? The aiming point is for the elbow. Now we want to swipe rip, okay? Right here, swipe rip, okay? Didn't bring the rip, okay? Right there, that's a little bit of a swat. You see that? See how he's swatting down, okay? We don't want to swat down. We want to go straight across and then bring the rip, okay? Conversely, look at this one, all right? That's a little bit supinated right there, okay? Meaning the palms are up. Okay, we're not swiping here. We want thumbs up. We want palms facing the target. Okay, so now we've done a swipe rip and we're going to go to the counter swipe. So what I say earlier, we talked about when he oversets you with square shoulders. So right now, if you're picturing that is the right defensive end and I'm the left tackle, okay, I am scared to death. Last rep, he beat me. Okay, he ran the edge on me. So now I'm getting out here as fast as I can. And when I overset him, that's going to open it up inside. The key is this, is threaten vertical speed first. Threaten vertical speed first. If you just cheat inside right away, okay, then he's more likely to counter back inside. But you can see here, Brian does a good job of getting north, okay, then going inside. What I would like for him to do is to finish that and get back to his quadrant. But we really haven't quadrant at that point. Bring the rip and get north. A little bit more like that, okay? A little bit more like this right here, okay? Work on the swipe, okay? You can see again, he's swatting at it. That's what we're talking about right there, okay? But he did bring the rip after. Now I want to draw your attention to this, okay? Because this has been my favorite thing that's happened all year. Colby here is learning these moves and he is busting his tail this off season, okay? You can see it's unnatural, okay? It's unnatural and he's having a heck of a go at it here, but that's okay. That's okay. You can even see here, this is the third rep, okay? Head down, not very happy with it, all right? But he busts his tail and it becomes more natural. It becomes more natural. And I'm going to allude to that when we watch the one-on-ones. So again, coaches, okay, I need to do a better job here, but finish this inside swipe with a rip. Notice he's just tailing off to his right after. It's a decent swipe. It's a decent swipe, but finish it with the rip and get vertical. Quarterback ain't over there. Okay, so here, as you see him go, a little bit better job. That's a better job getting back to the quadrant right there. I overset him, okay, and then he inside counter swipe and rips and gets back to his quadrant. This is a tackle. That's why I'm moving up there. Okay, so your tackles, you might want to be a little closer, ends a little further away. All right, but that's what we got right there for our swipe progression. Okay, if we were going to add a power to that, we'd probably add a bull rush or long arm. Okay, but I'm going to go over that here in this next video. Okay. So here you can see this is just another bend drill. We just change it up, give them different looks. But let's get to the bull rush here. So where's 55 seconds? Where are you at? Okay. Should be right after this rep here. Okay. So we're teaching power now. Okay. So we're teaching bull rush in the long arm. When we go through the bull rush in the long arm, we start with one step. So you can see his inside foot to the bag is up. His outside foot is back. Okay. Because you want to threaten speed. You want to plant that outside foot, dig in, push off it, all right, and explode low to high through your offensive lineman, okay? So we're starting here with one step. So I'm just going to let this play, okay? We got linebackers and D linemen in here together, okay, cross-training a little bit, so that's fantastic. But this is very simple. Take one step, plant that outside foot, low to high. I'd like to see a dip. I'd like to see a dip and a rise, okay? But Check out the foot drive. They're all going right through the bag. There's a linebacker going right now, these next two guys here. Sometimes they might even hit it so hard that they straddle the bag too. That's fine. When they do it really well, you'll see the bottom of the bag here. You'll see that skip a little bit. Same thing other side, okay? Just one step and go for the bull rush. Linebacker play into it here. Again, same thing, nice rep there, okay? Take the one step, plant, sink, dip and rise through the contact, okay? Now we put them into a stance. So it's the exact same thing. Now they're planting off their second step. So inside hand down, inside foot back. Okay, they're planting off their second step here. If we had more room for ends, we might even do it off the fourth step, okay? We might even do it off the fourth step. But the same principle applies here. A little high on the strike right there, okay? We want to make sure, really we should be targeting right through those letters right there. Right through those letters right there. So here again, here's a linebacker, okay? He's going down a three-point stance. Sometimes he plays D-line. Fantastic. Fantastic. But we got guys going. We can check the same thing other side. Same thing other side here. Okay. We got some more linebackers here. Okay. If you're doing it with the linebackers, you can see all he did was back up a little bit. Now, we've went through the bull rush out of one step. We went through the bull rush out of two steps. I said if we had more room, we might go 4 steps as well. Now we're going hezzy bull. Okay, now we're going hezzy bull. So what I mean by hezzy is just hesitation. You are hesitating somehow, you know, staggering your feet, hesitating your feet, buzzing your feet a little bit, changing direction. You're not going forward right away. Or you are going forward and you're changing your pace, similar to what I talk about on kickoff cover. Okay, so right now we are mimicking interior guys, and we're just slanting, going the other side, hesitating, and then bull rushing through. What are we looking for? We're looking for that soft feet. That's what we want. If he haven't get more width in his base, stop his feet, now we can attack it. So it's a quick little slant, a little hesitation. Sometimes you might widen out and go the opposite way, but you're looking for a little bit of hesitation and you're going. So these are interior guys here. Now these are ends, okay? So you're coming off the edge, you're getting a good get off, all right? And then we're telling them to hesitate right over that bag. So make it look like you're bending the edge, change your pace a little bit, get that tackle to stop his feet, all right? Then accelerate again right through it, okay? I like that right there. I like that right there. Look at that finish, okay? Eyes right through the bag, okay? And then you can see him dip and rise on that as well. This is probably the best one as far as hesitation. A linebacker coming off the edge. All right, you can see him come off the edge, little hesitation. That running back or tackle might stop his feet a little bit. Then he's going to accelerate again. We do the same thing the other side. Okay, nothing new, exact same drill, just working the other way. This is more specific to ends. Get off, hesitate, and then bull rush. Looking for the offensive lineman to widen his base and stop his feet. That's what we're looking for there. Then we'll do the exact same thing with the long arm, okay? So now we're talking the long arm, the exact same progression. So as we go through here, we're starting out of a stance. I think we end up going back to a one step here in a second, okay? But it's the exact same thing. The difference between a bull rush and a long arm, Coach Drazio was talking about the bridge last night, okay? Did a great job of it. When we get those two hands in there, we have to win inside, okay? Our hands have to be tight together. Our hands have to be inside, thumbs up. We got to win inside, all right? But what it does is it makes us closer to the lineman. The long arm allows us to keep a little bit more distance, okay? A little bit attacking the more half of the man, okay? And giving yourself separation. So right here, you can see these guys, both D linemen and linebackers, getting off, and they're planting that outside foot. It's a one step here. Plant, dip, rise through contact, and go. Plant, dip, and go. Okay, we're confusing the two right there. Same thing other side. Same thing other side. I'm just trying to speed this up a little bit. Okay. And now, same thing out of a stance. Okay, see if I can get the other side for you guys. We've looked at a lot from this side. Okay. Oh, I didn't film it. Just so you guys know what I do with this, and I'll pause for a sec here, is some of these clips I'm in, some of these clips I'm not. Like I said, took the cell phone. You could do it in your gym or wherever you want, okay? And usually what I'll do is I'll give them 3 reps, and then we're coaching them through the first rep. We're coaching them through and demoing the second rep, things like that. And then I'll film the 3rd rep. That's how we do it. It's that simple. All right, you don't have to film everything. You can't film and coach at the same time anyways. But if you put it in groups of 3, coach the first, coach the second, film the 3rd, okay? The next part with the long arm is this. Okay, out of the stance, plant the outside foot. See how he twisted his butt right there? All right. See how a little bit early, watch how his butt gets pointed to that execution sign out there. Okay. Don't want to get too far out there. You're sacrificing power. You're sacrificing speed. Okay. Get to your target, angle your stance if you need to, but it's a race to that set point. Don't take yourself out. Now, the last part here is this. So now, okay, we taught a little bit of a counter from the long arm and the bull rush, okay? So we're going to start, we got 2 bags here. We're going to start on the bull rush, a little bit of hesitation because we're playing with that on this day, okay? We'll get into the bull rush on the first bag, and then as we go through it, we're going to transition to a long arm on the second bag. That's what this is right here. So you find yourself, you get locked up. It doesn't have to be a bull rush, but you can get yourself locked up in any situation. And you want to create separation with that long arm from there, and you can get off and work your block destruction, whether it be a forklift or reverse forklift or whatever it might be. But that's a hesitation right here, okay? Hezi, bull the first bag, and then get through and long arm the second bag. D linemen and linebackers going through, both of them here together. So a quick little hesitation, bull rush, long arm, okay? A little bit excited there. Hesitation, bull rush, long arm. Is this perfect? No, it's the first time we're doing this drill. Okay, these aren't perfect clips. Okay, just want you to idea, because if you do this or you choose to do something like this, this is what you're going to see. This is what your players are going to see, and that's fine. Just make it better from there. Now, let's see this in action. Okay, so let's look at some film right here. Okay. Go from here to this. Boom. Okay. I've got a few clips here, and then as well, if you guys have any questions, please ask. Okay, please ask. I'm kind of racing through some of this stuff here. All right, but if something comes up, the question, go ahead and ask me, stop me. And we'll get going with that. But as we go through, let's look at the get off and the bend. Let's look at the swipe. Let's look at the counter inside swipe. And then let's look at the power with the bull rush. Okay, that's what we're focusing on here. Okay, so here we're looking at the right defensive end in the green jersey. Okay, it might not look like much, but look at the bend. Okay, look at the bend right there. Look at him make the O-lineman play below his belly. Okay, I'm showing this. I'm not saying this is a perfect bend. This is not a perfect dip rip or anything like that. But it is something that we didn't get much of in the first camp. And what did Coach Durazio say last night? If they make you open, if they get your edge on speed, they're going to open their hips and wall you out. Okay, it's a lot more difficult to do that if you are dipping underneath them and going around the edge. Same thing on this one here. Get off and then dip right there. Okay. I would like to see him add the chop here. All right. But a week prior to this, he's probably stuck out there. All right. Look at what it does to the offensive lineman. They don't want to be looking down like that. Okay. They don't want their hands down there playing below their belt. Okay. Dip and run the edge. Dip and run the edge. Okay, one more time. The reason why I said I'd like to add a chop here is what do you see from the offensive lineman? Okay, low hands. His hands are down there. We said it early. We beat low hands with low hand moves. We beat high hands with high hand moves. So that's why I said here, add the chop. Add the chop. He's showing us low hands. Add the chop that's going to help you with your dip rip. Okay? Add a swipe. So we're looking at the 3-tech to the left of the screen right here. Okay? So as he's going through, swipe and finish. Okay? A couple things with your finish, coaches. All right? Number one, we talked about quadrants prior to this. So to me, he's finishing there at the right eye position. That's good. Number two, don't have your players stop right at the end of the drill. Okay? To be honest, that's a coaching mistake on my part. We should have something back there as far as a cone, a player, a coach, someone to represent the quarterback, but there's back there, they have the tendency to stop. I'm not going to be one for yelling at the players to sprint back all the time, okay, because you're yelling and coaching that sprint back more than you are anything else, but we don't want to stop. We want to keep going. But I'm okay with this because what we talked about is that he finishes at that right eye quadrant, okay? Look at the hands, okay, swiping through, and then he gets back up and finishes at that quadrant. Now, this is the clip that I wanted to, that I've been building here, and you know, it's been my favorite clip for this whole off season. Okay, so this is young Colby again. All right, this is his first rep of this practice. Okay, so they had started right and moved down. So this is his first rep. Practice. I was building this up. Okay, that's iron there. Number 61 for us. So I've been building up, you know, 61 versus 90, iron versus Colby. Let's see who wins. Okay, get them chirping about it in stretch and all that kind of stuff, and they're love it. They're having a good time. And this is the first rep. And now Colby didn't tell me this until after, which makes it even more perfect that he was thinking about it. He says, "Coach, I know iron is going to attack me." Okay, I knew he was going to attack me. We were chirping all practice. Okay, it's a first rep. He's going to be aggressive. I'm going to be aggressive. I know he's going to attack me. So what does he do? What does he know if someone might overset you with square shoulders? Inside swipe. Boom. Check that out. And look at the excitement. Look at the excitement. Okay, that's the same guy. That's the same guy that had his head down that we had do the swipe move 3 times in a row. In fact, it was the inside swipe. I'll try to go back here a little more. Okay, 3 times in a row. And now he executes it. Look at the excitement on. Okay, players want to do well. They want to do well. All right. If you want to make this better, okay, I'm being greedy, and I told him I'm greedy, is Colby, you're a left eye player. Okay, that's the midline there. You're a left eye player. All right. But as far as that counter move versus an overstep, beautiful. So now let's take a look at these vertical shoulders. So we're looking at the O lineman 75 here. Okay. We're looking at the O lineman 75. This is an excellent timing for an inside speed move versus vertical shoulders. So it's not a lot, but watch 75. Watch him right here. And I'll try to slow it down. Square shoulders, boom. His shoulders went from parallel to the line of scrimmage to that right shoulder is pointed toward the line of scrimmage. And the second that happened, our defensive end recognizes it, anticipates it, and comes inside, okay, with a nice club rip inside. Coach is the key for the rip. Get that elbow to clear the eyes. Elbow clear the eyes. You do not rip like an arm curl. You don't rip with your wrist. The elbow has to clear the eyes. So here we get the elbow to the eyes, but it could be even a little bit better. What that also helps to do is to lean back into him, because where's he got to be? He's got to be a right ear player here. He's got to be a right ear player. So here, recognizes vertical shoulders inside, okay, and right there, does a decent job of ending back to a right ear player. I'd like to be more greedy than that. Okay, so now I ask this player, okay, why did you come inside on this one? Okay, as we play this, those shoulders, it's the same 75, those shoulders are more square than that last clip, okay? They're not perfectly square, but before that 5 was a lot closer to pointing to the line of scrimmage, being perpendicular with it, okay? But he says, coach, no, I wasn't playing vertical shoulders. I was playing the overset. That's the question up here. Was this an overset? And he's like, yep, I was playing the overset. Overset with square shoulders, speed inside. Overset with square shoulders, speed inside. Make this perfect, okay? Get that elbow above the eye on your rip. The elbow above the eye will get those hands off you. He can't hold you. If that elbow stays down here tight to the body, they can just grab and hold it. It'll never get called, okay? Get the elbow right there. That needs to be above the eyes, okay?
Coach, what technique would you teach to try and get him back to the right ear? Because that's his quadrant, right? He should be a right ear player.
Yeah, great question. The technique here, when you're coming on an inside move, really what I like to do is you need to use your moves to get you back to where you want to go. So he chose to take an inside speed move here. Okay, he chose a little club rip. So when he does that, all right, now he has to get that rip high or even re-rip, okay? Re-rip, just like we've all done with our hoop drills, and it's the lean that gets him back. If we don't get the elbow high, we don't lean as much, and then we will veer off course. But it's the lean in this particular case that will get you back to your quadrant. On another case, we use a spin and ice pick. Okay, you can use a spin and ice pick. So that way, if you find yourself too far inside, okay, now you can spin, get your hand back to the thigh or to the butt of the opponent, and that will get you back into your quadrant. But there's several different ways to do it. The way here is high elbow, lean back into it, okay, and keep yourself there. Thanks for the question, Coach Hall. Okay, now we're talking an inside counter here, okay? So we got an inside counter versus an overset. Take a look, square shoulders, 67 doesn't get too vertical, square shoulders, a little club arm over. This is from a 3-tech. Quick, club arm over, okay, veers back to the right eye, okay? Veers back to the right eye. On this one here, he might want to push off a little bit more with his right hand to help get him back to his quadrant. This one here, okay, we're looking at a cross chop. So he's selling vertical and is going to cross chop inside just like that. It's actually going to be his left hand. Cross chop, beautiful move. Okay, you can use it as Brian does here with an inside move, or you can fake inside and still use a cross chop as a speed move on the outside as well. This one is an inside move, okay? So now it'll be his left hand right there. Left hand, almost like an arm over. It's almost like an arm over, but look at the bend. Look at the bend. Where does he finish? Boom. He is a left ear player, okay? If this was a lazy rep or maybe even just the camp before, he'd win with this cross chop and then might just continue like he did in practice way over there and be like, woo, I won, I beat him. Well, no. Your aiming point in this case is a left ear player. Fight to get back to your quadrant, and he does a good job right there. Okay. So again, we get vertical shoulders, boom. Vertical shoulders, perpendicular to the line of scrimmage. We identify that. Threaten speed, he opens a gate for us, and now we use a speed move back inside. Okay, see that little bit more of a elbows low here. Okay, I'll try to slow it down for you. Little bit emphasis right there. It's not a lot, just a little bit. Okay, that gets his the hands off him. He can lean back into him and get back to a right eye position. Okay, threaten speed, get him to open the gate. You get those vertical shoulders, get inside. Okay, now we're talking bull rush. Okay, we're talking bull rush. So I'll stop it right there. What's the issue with this, coaches? Eyes are down, and he's going right down his chest. Remember, we talked about the bridge, hands inside, thumbs up, extending and winning inside. Here, it's the exact opposite, okay? Again, it's the first time he's trying it. We tell him, practice, whether it's in here or out at our facility, that's the laboratory. Try your technique, okay? We don't get upset when we fail. We correct it and we move on, all right? But here, eyes are down, hands are outside. It's not a very good rep right here, okay? But he's just got so much power that he's able to fight through it, okay? He still collapses the left side of that pocket, all right? Take a look at this one. So again, here, I kept this clip in for a couple of reasons, okay? Number one, be onside, okay? But what's he complaining about? He comes back here, he's like, coach, you moved, okay? We had been talking man triggers. So this is a new player. We have to teach him the game. But if you watch closely here, and 75 is correct. We're wrong on the defensive line. This is definitely an offside. But he's down there, and then he's getting set. You can see the other offensive linemen, they're not set up, okay? But he's going off a man trigger here, okay, and sees it. It's the wrong man trigger. I understand that, and I want you to understand that. But, okay, it's important to identify that he is working that man trigger there. So now let's take a look at the bull rush, okay? So here, boom, inside, hands are inside, eyes are up, okay? Eyes are up, hands are inside. You can see here he's pushing off his inside foot. Could probably take one more step. Maybe that's a push off right there, okay? But hands are inside, drive, 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 collapse the pocket. That's foot drive right there. A good get off, lower pad level, his hat's lower than 75's hat, and good foot drive. Drive, 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 drive. Not picture perfect. First time he's trying it. First time he's trying it. Got just a couple more here, and then we're done. Okay? We're talking about the bull rush here, okay? So this is one where I talked about earlier. You might want to try on your fourth step. So ends here, okay? You could loosen your technique a little bit. Don't have to be perfectly straight or perpendicular to the line of scrimmage, okay? He starts on his second step, okay? So 1, 2, plants off that outside foot. Plants off the outside foot right there, okay? Where are the hands? The hands are inside. Or sorry, the hands are outside. They need to be inside. But, again, his hat's lower, okay? He's getting a strike, and he's using foot drive. He's using foot drive. You will never win a bull rush if you don't win inside and you don't drive your feet, okay? That's kind of that Frankenstein thing I talked about earlier. Again, not perfect. These aren't meant to be perfect, but I'm showing you the progression. I'm showing you the progression right here. And what happens? He ends up getting it all the way back here with his foot drive, okay, to dent the pocket from the right side. Now let's talk a little bit. Here's one escape move that I kept for you. So we got a little hezzy cross chop here, okay? So a hezzy, cross rip, all right? And now check this out. Watch his left hand, okay? His left hand right here. O-lineman's got his right hand draped across his throat. Now he takes his left hand, and when we teach forklift, you're usually talking wrist or elbow. Okay, here he goes forearm, and you see it on tape, especially in the NFL. You get guys that are really good at it that can get both wrists, both forearms, or both elbows, and they can use that as a move to literally walk the guy back. Okay, but here, this is a young player taking what we've done on these winter workouts and raising it. Look at him raise it. So he identifies he's being hooked, forklift up, get off, okay, and win to win the rep here. The only other thing negative is he doesn't get back to his quadrant, okay? But I can see on tape that he's working back there because he knows he's misaligned. If he didn't know, he would just finish right here. He would just finish right there. Okay? So hezzy bull, okay? So we talked about this, some sort of hesitation to get the offensive lineman to stop his feet. So right here, hesitate, boom. Stop feet, wide base, both feet are outside the hips. That's what we're looking for. And now he just walks them back. As soon as they stop their feet, just like that, it's almost perfect that he has feet stopped at the exact same time that we are accelerating. Okay, so it's just some sort of hesitation and then accelerate. And you can see what he's doing. He's actually widening out to his shade. Okay, that's his hesitation there. Not getting off and going vertical. This one here, hezi bull to long arm. I think this is our last clip. So we talked about that hezi bull to long arm. So you can see him not fire out right away, little bit of hesitation, get into the bull rush with the foot drive, and then extend that right arm to the long arm. So little hesitation, that's what we're looking for. Probably even back it up a frame here. Yeah, there it is. That's what we're looking for right there. Okay. Now he accelerates into contact. Our hat's lower than his hat. Our hands are inside. Great foot drive. And look for separation at the pocket. Remember what Coach Dan said last night? You want to win from the center point. Okay, you can't let the pocket get dented. Well, this is a guard, not a center, but at the same time, all right, that's denting the pocket right there. And he finishes it off by going from a bull rush, creating separation with the long arm, okay, and getting the hand into the quarterback's face. That's all I have for you here tonight, coaches. If you do have questions, I'd be happy to take them at this time. Okay, but what I do want to draw your attention to is this, is a couple of things here for development and finding ideas to make your own. Is go on to our 3 Phases Coaching YouTube channel. Okay, check out all the videos we've done this year. If you want to get at me personally, the DMA Jackson, that's my Twitter right here. This is the email at yahoo.com. And then these I want to share with you as well. A lot of you will know some of these. These might be new to others. Okay. But if you're looking for content, there's loads of free content out there. Loads, whether it's YouTube, Twitter, whatever it might be. Glazier clinics, this clinic, all that kind of stuff. So some of the people I like to follow, number 1 is Chuck Smith. Okay. Chuck Smith, retired NFL player. Okay, he does that Dr. Rush. He's known as a master pass rush specialist. He's on Twitter at Chuck Smith NFL. He's got loads of free content. He's got paid content too if you want to get more in depth. Okay, but he's a guy that a lot of the pros go to. Fantastic stuff, great teacher. Willie Cashmore, he does that D-line pass rush of the day at Willie Cashmore on Twitter. So you can follow him a couple of times a day, once a day, whatever it might be, but he's throwing up pass rush moves and explaining them there on his Twitter account. D-line vids, okay? Again, putting up different things, whether it's pass or run. And then the last one here, you always want to know the opponent's thought as well. That's why we tuned in, or that's why I tuned into Coach Dan's presentation last night, is Paul Alexander at Paul Alex. He's an O-line coach. He's a retired NFL O-line coach. And usually he plays off of this Willie Cashmore. I don't know either of these guys. I just follow him. All right. But Willie will post the pass rush of the day. And then Coach Paul goes on there and says what the offensive lineman did wrong and how it should be corrected. Okay. So it's a beautiful thing. But those are some resources for you guys there. Okay, just check for any questions. I don't see any. So with that, coaches, that puts the end to the presentation. Get at me if you'd like to. I'd love to talk to you and chat some ball. And tomorrow night will be John Mackey talking quarterbacks and pre-snap reads. Thanks, everybody, for joining us tonight.